As harvest of a record U.S. corn crop got underway, Paul Jetski of Northeast Illinois said yields on his farm were similar to last year, which is very good. He said crop quality was also good, but that he was experiencing some corn with a lighter test weight.
This year, the cool weather certainly had things growing slow for a while, and the development was a little behind normal early on, but then in July, when it did warm up, things caught up fairly quickly. But then the end of the season is what probably has affected our test weight. I believe the extreme wet and cloudy weather that we had at the end of the growing season. The plants had plenty of moisture, so they continued to maintain those kernels that they had. But at the same time, they weren't quite photosynthesizing enough to really put the nutrients into that kernel to make it as dense as what it was last year. And so I think the real wet late season weather is possibly what the cause of our lighter test weights have been.
In some regions, the crop dries down all the way in the field, but many farmers take advantage of grain dryers to ensure the crop is in good condition before being put in storage. Ohio farmer John Linder explains the care he takes in managing his grain dryer.
This is our grain drying system for handling corn, and as we harvest, typically in Ohio, corn isn't dry enough at the end of the growing season to put it straight in the bin. So we use a mechanical dryer, which this is what they call a tower dryer. It's continuous flow. It uses liquid propane because we do not have natural gas supply here. And it heats the corn with a large volume of air to actually remove the moisture with turning the moisture into a vapor. And then as you see the vapor coming out of the dryer, that's the excess moisture that was in the kernel of corn. One of the challenges to get quality in this type of drying system is using the proper temperature. And so that is something we monitor very closely as we dry the corn.
Monitoring drying temperatures is important because if it gets too hot, the kernel can crack, which will lead to quality issues as the grain is handled. In Kansas, where farmer Terry Venduska lives, he didn't see as much moisture as other areas. As he got into harvest, he was pleased with yields and the condition of his crop.
The quality has been very good. Test weights have been running anywhere from 56 up to 59 pounds per bushel for us, so that's average to slightly better than normal. We've had a few loads that were running 59, 60 pounds, so it's been very, very good quality. We did lose a little bit of kernel depth because of the drought. The kernels on a couple of the fields and spots were a little bit smaller than normal, but all in all, it's a very good, very high quality harvest.
Nebraska farmer Dave Nielsen said like many Corn Belt farmers, he got a late start at harvest because of wet fall weather. By mid-November, however, farmers had caught up to the 5-year average. Dave said the quality of his crop is excellent and better than last year, and that biotechnology is one tool that helps keep quality more consistent. He also said yields are very good.
The yield we're looking at this year on corn is about 190 to 200 bushel per acre, or about 12 metric tons per hectare is what we're looking at this year. The corn's very good in this area. We had really good growing conditions. It wasn't hot. We didn't have a lot of hot days. We lacked a little moisture in one area in one time frame during the growing season, but that's pretty typical for this area. So I think the farmers in this area are very pleased, and across the state of Nebraska and across the whole U.S. Corn Belt, I think generally farmers are pretty pleased with the corn yield this year.
Most farmers across the United States are seeing strong yields, and USDA is projecting a record crop of about 14.4 billion bushels, or more than 360 million metric tons. That's a lot of good quality U.S. corn available for buyers around the world.